All right, let's get right into it. If you've ever had a slice of pizza or a sandwich and then spent the next few hours feeling bloated, crampy, and just plain miserable, then you are in the right place. We are going to crack one of the most common and frustrating mysteries out there. Why does wheat make you feel so awful, especially when your doctor says you don't have celiac disease?
Does this sound familiar? You just know something is wrong. You can feel it, but all the tests come back negative. It's so easy to feel like you're going crazy or that it's all in your head. Well, I'm here to tell you it is not in your head. You're not imagining it. And today, we're going to figure out what's really going on.
So to solve this thing, we've got to start at the beginning. We need to understand the problem itself. What is actually happening inside your body when you eat wheat? Let's lay out the usual suspects and see why it's so easy to get them mixed up.
Okay, now take a look at this. This table really breaks it down. You've got celiac disease over on the left. That's an autoimmune reaction to gluten. Then in the middle, you have a classic wheat allergy. But pay close attention to the column on the far right. This is where the magic is for so many of us. It's often called non-celiac wheat sensitivity, but the trigger, it's not a protein like gluten. Look, it's a carbohydrate called a fructan. It's the same food, yeah, but a completely different culprit causing the trouble.
For what, a decade now? Gluten has been public enemy number one. It's been blamed for everything. It's the villain in the story. But what if I told you that for a huge number of people struggling with this, we've had the wrong guy this whole time?
I mean, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? You eat bread, you get sick, bread contains gluten, so it must be the gluten. It seems like an open and shut case. But as it turns out, science had a major plot twist in store for us.
So some brilliant researchers decided to put this whole gluten theory to the ultimate test. They gathered a group of people who were convinced they had gluten sensitivity, and over a few weeks they gave them 3 different muesli bars. The trick was nobody knew which bar they were eating. One was just a placebo, another was loaded with gluten, and the third was packed with fructans.
Dan, bam! Look at these results. It is just fascinating. When people ate the placebo bar, symptoms were low. Okay, makes sense. But then, when they ate the bar packed with gluten, their symptoms were also low. There was basically no difference. But, and this is the big reveal, when they ate the Fructan bar, their symptoms went through the roof. The evidence was staring them right in the face. Gluten wasn't the trigger. It was something else entirely.
All right, so with gluten officially off the hook for a lot of people, it's time to introduce the real troublemakers that are behind all this digestive chaos. Let's meet the main offender, fructans, and its sneaky partner in crime.
So, what on earth are fructans? They're basically chains of a sugar molecule called fructose. But here is the absolute key, the part you have to remember. No human on the planet can digest them. We literally do not have the enzymes for it. So this isn't a you problem, it's a human problem. Every single fructose you eat makes its way down to your large intestine completely untouched.
So you're probably thinking, if nobody can digest them, why do they cause me so much pain? Great question. It's a perfect storm that happens in 3 steps. First, osmosis. As fructans travel through your gut, they're like little sponges pulling a ton of water in with them. That alone causes bloating and can cause diarrhea. Step 2, fermentation. Your gut bacteria see these undigested carbs arrive and they throw a party. They start fermenting them like crazy, which produces a lot of gas. But here's the crucial 3rd step, hypersensitivity. In people with sensitive guts, the nerves are on high alert. So that normal amount of gas and stretching is perceived by your brain as a serious threat, and that translates into pain.
And this is why it is so hard to figure out on your own. Fructans aren't just in wheat. They are hiding in some of the healthiest foods you can imagine. Garlic and onions, they are huge sources, absolutely massive. They're also in things like ripe bananas, watermelon, cashews, and they're even added to foods as healthy fibers like inulin. It's no wonder it feels so random and confusing.
Okay, but what about the other stuff? The symptoms that aren't in your stomach? That brain fog, the fatigue, the achy joints that make you feel like you have the flu? Well, that's where the accomplice comes in. They're called amylase trypsin inhibitors, or ATIs. These are proteins in wheat that can trigger a part of your innate immune system, causing a low-grade inflammation all over your body. That's what gives you that general, all-over sick feeling. So, we've identified the bad guys. That's a huge step. But knowledge is only half the battle, right? What really matters is what you can do about it. And the good news, the really good news, is that you can absolutely take back control and start feeling better. Let's talk strategy.
The most effective strategy, the gold standard, is a temporary plan called the Low FODMAP diet. Now, don't worry about that crazy-sounding name. Just think of it as a short-term investigation to become a detective of your own body. It has 3 simple phases. First, for a few weeks, you eliminate these high FODMAP foods to let your system just calm down. Then, you reintroduce them one by one to see which ones are your specific triggers. And finally, you build a personalized, long-term diet that works for you. It's not a life sentence, it's a learning process.
Okay, let's just address the elephant in the room. The big question on everyone's mind is, does this mean I can never have a good piece of bread again? And the answer is a resounding no. You absolutely can. The secret isn't about avoiding bread forever. It's about choosing bread that's been made using an incredible, ancient method that basically solves the fructan problem for you.
So check this out. It all comes down to fermentation. Your standard supermarket loaf is made super fast, in maybe 2 hours. The fructans are completely untouched. But true sourdough, well, that's a whole different ballgame. It uses a starter culture of wild yeast and good bacteria, and it ferments for a really long time. We're talking 12 hours or more. And during that long, slow process, those amazing little microbes are actually eating the fructans, pre-digesting the bread before it even gets to you.
And the result is nothing short of incredible. A true, long-fermented sourdough process can reduce the fructan content in that bread by up to 90%. 90. Think about that. That's enough to take bread from being a high FODMAP food that guarantees a bad day to a low FODMAP food that many people can eat and enjoy without any problems at all.
So the power is officially back in your hands. You know it's probably not the gluten that's been the problem. You know it's likely the fructans, and you know there are clear, proven strategies to feel better, including some pretty delicious ones. So the only question left is, what's your first step going to be? Are you going to investigate a low FODMAP food list, or are you going to go find a real artisan bakery?